Shalom Israel. I'm going to start off this lesson by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Racha, Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Pieces and blessings to the Akim out here pushing the truth for all sincerity and diligence. And Shalom to the 1/3 men, women, and children who are the believers. And Shalom to the scattered elect. And going to this lesson and get straight into it, is basically going about how the true believers of the Lord, the true believers of Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, are going to be persecuted in these last days, and what I mean by not prosecuted, but persecuted in these last days, Shalakia. And what I mean by that is, he is getting ready to make his move against the prophets and against the true believers of the Lord, because he sees and he knows that these prophecies are coming to pass. And he had this thing where he's talking about these so-called extremists or trying to get rid of the so-called First Amendment of the Constitution, which is the freedom of speech. Not being able to say anything about the small hats and whatnot, and basically bring to light, the truth of the whole matter, of the scriptures, who the true children of God is, and who are the true children of the wicked. Speaking on all the prophecies that's coming to pass, and that's really the main reasons that he's going to start coming down on the men of the Lord and also the believers, because he know with us waking up is the end of his kingdom, and he's trying everything he can to preserve his kingdom. What he also don't understand is him trying to come and persecute, the true believers of the Lord, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, is all scripture. And what he failed to realize is that though he might try to persecute us, we still gonna win at the end of the motherfucking day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start bringing out scriptures. It says, this is Revelation chapter 2 verse 10. It says, "Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give you a crown of life." So as this devil is putting up, censors on everything, and coming up with schemes and plots to basically shut the men of the Lord up, also bring the famine of the word, he's going to start coming down with great wrath upon our people, starting with the 2/3, but ultimately he's really finna try to come down on the true believers of the Lord. Shalakia. He's finna start coming down on the true believers of the Lord, all of Israel, but mainly the true believers of the Lord, because he know that he have nothing but a little time. He know that his kingdom is running short, and you starting to see more so-called UFO sightings all all four corners of the earth, which they aren't unidentified. Them, you could say they are the IFOs that identify flying objects, because them, according to the scriptures, are the chariots of the Lord. Them are our angelic brothers. You know what I'm saying? Watching and waiting for the Lord to give his sign to bring judgment upon this place. You understand? Yeah. I want to say, we'll say, in Revelation, how they shall hold the four corners of the wind. I want to say it's Revelation 7. Yep. Revelation 7 verse 1, it says, "And after these things, I saw four angels stand on all four corners of the earth, holding the four winds of the earth, that the wind shall not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living power, and he cried with a loud voice to the four angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, Hurt not the earth, neither the sea nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our power in their foreheads." You know, if we're coming to the time where, you know what I'm saying, the seal is damn near up. You know what I'm saying? The elect is sealed. You know, and if they not sealed, it is almost sealed. You know what I'm saying? If you can declare the times in the season, you know, which is the reason why we're in the beginning stages of World War III, like the battle beginnings of World War III. You know, you finna have great famines coming upon the earth. You know, due to the Strait of Hormuz being closed. You know, you got gas prices rising up. You got food shortages happening in the land. You know, you got food prices also rising up in the land. You know, this is all scriptural. You know, and really it's because the Lord is bringing His wrath upon Babylon the Great. You know, for all the wickedness. You know, the 2/3 of Israel, and also these heathen nations. You know, that's in this land. You know, the Lord is really coming to judge this place for all the wickedness that this motherfucking place has brought to all four corners of the earth. Because if you really think about it, the real reason why the earth is in so much turmoil is because of Babylon the Great. You know what I'm saying? So-called these different countries trying to take on the American way and the American dream. You know, you got these heathens that was coming into the country, then taking on the ideologies of the so-called white man, bringing it back to their own countries and stuff, which their own countries not having that shit. You know what I'm saying? They don't agree with that shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's turned the whole world upside down. And that's the reason why majority of these countries, you know what I'm saying, especially in the Middle East, they hate Babylon the Great. And they hate they really hate the so-called small hats, because they know that they're not the true people. You know, and just to think of all the things that they've been doing, you know. But all in all of this is really coming into the time of the persecution of you know what I'm saying, of Israel, you know. But only the elect is gonna be protected in these days, you know. Protected from the famine, protected from the sword, you know, from the Lord's judgment. The ones who truly believe are going to be protected. while the rest, you know what I'm saying, who bullshitted, who mocked, who scoffed, you know what I'm saying, who betrayed the men of the Lord, who tried to hurt the men of the Lord, you know, they're going to be dealt with. They're going to be judged, because it wasn't the men of the Lord or the believers that they was coming against. They was coming against the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son. You understand? Let me go to Revelation. I want to say it's chapter 20. Yep, this is Revelation chapter 20 verse 4, and it says, "And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua, and for the word of the Most High, and for the word of Yahweh, and which had not worshipped the beast, nor his image, neither have received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Hamashiach for 1,000 years." So we're coming to the time where, you know, he is about to try to, you know what I'm saying, swoop down on the believers. You know, he gonna try to put some of us in jail. He gonna try to kill some of us. You know what I'm saying? Some of us gonna be beheaded for this truth. You know what I'm saying? And for not receiving the mark and worshiping, you know what I'm saying, this society, going on with this society rules. You know what I'm saying? Which this is nothing but Rome all over again. And I just seen a brother. I just seen a brother video. He was basically making a quote that he think Trump, you know what I'm saying, which is Nero reincarnated. You know what I'm saying, those who receive that spirit, you know, receiving the spirit will understand why they say it's Nero all over again. He's going to be the one to bring in the persecution of the elect, you know. But like I said before, they can bring all the motherfucking persecution they want. You know what I'm saying? They can bring what the fuck they want. But look, but all in all, this kingdom is going down. And whether we get thrown in jail, you know what I'm saying, Lord willing, I'm a part of the elect, you know. Whether we get thrown in jail or put to death, you know what I'm saying, that's still a crown of life upon us. And even then, not all of us gonna die. Not all of us gonna die, you know. A lot of us gonna get spiritual power. And when that happens, we gonna fuck y'all up, you know what I'm saying? But it's all in the time of waiting for the Lord. You know what I'm saying? That's what we waiting for. We waiting for the Lord. You know? But with that, I just wanted to give, I hope that this lesson was edifying first and foremost, you know. I hope that that you enjoyed this fruit that I gave the ones who hear for bear. You know, with that, I'm gonna give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. Till the next time, Shalom.